Morning.
Morning. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Good.
Good.
Okay. Renee.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, there you are. Okay, good. And so we can hear everybody, see everybody, and I'm going to bring in Judge Eskew.
Thank you.
Good morning. This is the Bastrop County Court at Law on
Morning, Your Honor.
March 31st, 2021. The court calls cause number 2020143 in the matter of the marriage of McCarthy. Mr. Ritchie, would you like to make your appearance on the record?
Yes, Your Honor. Ken Ritchie, attorney for Maria Renee McCarthy, the petitioner.
Okay, and she is also present in this Zoom hearing.
Yes, sir.
Okay, she's not in the same room with you, but she is present in the hearing.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And is respondent present? I don't see respondent present. The case has been called in the courtroom as well as on in Zoom. Mr. Ritchie, would you like to proceed?
I would, Your Honor. And I can make it as quick as the court would like. I would like to offer into evidence exhibits 1 through 19, which were provided not only to the court reporter yesterday, but also to the respondent.
Okay. I have those in front of me. They are admitted.
Thank you, sir. If you could turn to petitioner's exhibit 18, specifically, that is our proposed disposition of issues. And there are, I recognize that envelope, sir. That's the proposed disposition of issues. There's really not a lot of property to divide. There's a house, there's one retirement account, a few bank accounts, and some personal property that they have. Most of it has all been taken by them and is in their possession now. But I'd like to, for a brief statement, we are asking for an unequal distribution of the property due to cruel treatment. My client, as you can see, the marriage was barely 18 months when they separated. She suffered numerous instances of physical abuse, constant controlling verbal abuse. So we'd ask what little property that they have that she get an unequal distribution. And with your permission, I'd like to call my client, Your Honor.
Okay. Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear the testimony you give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, self you got?
Yes.
You may proceed.
Good morning. Will you say your first name, full name for the record, please, Renee?
Maria Renee McCarthy.
And you're currently married to Raymond McCarthy, is that correct?
Yes.
And he's the respondent and you're the petitioner in this case, correct?
Yes.
And at the time the petition was filed, you'd lived in Bastrop for the preceding 90 days, is that correct? And you'd been a domiciliary of the state of Texas for the preceding 6-month period, correct?
I'm sorry, I missed the first part of your question.
You resided in the state of Texas for the preceding 6-month period, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you and Mr. McCarthy were married on or about August 10th, 2018?
Yes.
And you ceased to live together as husband and wife about February 15th, 2020. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, as grounds for this divorce, you're alleging cruel treatment by Mr. McCarthy. Is that right?
Yes.
And in the alternative, you're alleging basically a no-fault divorce if the judge sees no grounds for cruel treatment. Is that correct?
Yes.
And no child was born to or adopted during this marriage, correct?
Correct.
And you're not currently pregnant?
No.
And you're not requesting a name change. You want to keep your current name?
Correct.
For the cruel treatment, can you, and Your Honor, I'd refer you to Exhibit 1. There's some photographs, but ma'am, will you kind of describe some of the physical abuse you suffered and what it was like during this short time you guys were together?
A lot of our incidents usually started with misunderstanding and communication between Raymond and I. A lot of times I would try to walk away from the situation to allow the situation to de-escalate, and he would pursue me. There were several incidents where I had bruises left. I was pulled down the stairs. One incident, I was hit by a door, which caused me to lose my balance and fall on my knees. Raymond was very controlling. He didn't like me talking to people. I was to go to work and then come home. He timed the time frame from when I left work to about the time I got home. And if I was 5 minutes late, he would question where I was, ask to see my phone. And when I was home, I wasn't allowed to talk to anybody on the phone because that was family time and that was taking time away from him.
Okay. There were several specific incidents, and you're not alleging this happened, the physical abuse happened every day, but how often would you say the physical abuse happened?
Every 2 to 3 months.
And there was a specific incident that happened in Galveston, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell the court about that?
We had taken Raymond's daughter, Layla, to Galveston to see her mother for the weekend. While she was spending time with her mom, Raymond and I went to the Kima Boardwalk. I had never been there, so he wanted to show me it. So we went there, we had some food, had a couple of drinks, and his grandpa had called us and asked us if we wanted to come play pool with him at the VFW. So we went, and we were having a good time playing pool and stuff, but the grandfather got too drunk and we were asked to remove him from the facility. So we did that, and Raymond got really upset about the situation. Somehow that proceeded for an argument between the both of us. He took my phone and shattered the screen. Of course, I was upset about it once he told me what he had done, and I started yelling at him about why he did that. And he was like, I told you, not to talk to him. I told you, he was going to be stubborn and not let us drive him home. And so he got really mad about it. And I said, I don't understand why you're so upset. Like, it's okay to ask him, for his safety to allow us to drive him. So we proceeded to drive, and it's kind of a blur. I don't remember how exactly it happened, but all of a sudden I felt a sting to the right side of my face. And so I reacted and I hit back, and he asked me why he hit me. And I said, if you're going to hit me, I'm going to hit you back. So we proceeded down the street, and he started to restrain me with his hand around my neck. And I started screaming and swinging my arms, trying to get out of his grip and asking him to pull over, allow me out. And he wouldn't. And then it was, I don't know, maybe 5 or 10 minutes later, he finally pulled over in a dark driveway and was cussing me out. And he put the car in park, turned it off, took my keys to the car, and he walked away. So I picked up my phone with the attempt to try to call somebody for help, because at this point I'm stranded in Galveston. And he came back, and he jerked the phone out of my hand and proceeded to yell at me not to call the cops. And I'm like, I'm trying to call for help. Like, I need someone to come get me. And then he proceeded to cuss me out again. And then he slammed the door and left. So at this point, I'm scared. I'm, just had an altercation. I don't have a phone. I don't have car keys. So I noticed that what was in front of me was a house. So as soon as I knew he was far away enough for me to run, I jumped out of the car and ran screaming for help. The resident in the house did allow me to enter their house and lock the door, and they called the cops.
Ultimately, the police showed up, but Mr. McCarthy was gone. Is that right?
That's correct.
Do you know where he went?
I found out later that he had called Layla's mother and asked her to come pick him up.
Let's go on to the proposed property division. Your Honor, that's Petitioner's Exhibit 18. You guys purchased a home during the marriage, correct? And that was a manufactured home?
Yes.
And can you tell me, did you purchase it for $78,000 roughly? That's so. And what's the monthly mortgage payment?
It's $848.
And as of today, is the mortgage balance about $76,500?
Yes, sir.
Right? Okay. And according to your research and everything, and according to real estate agents you've discussed, what's the value of the house? It'd be about $41,000.
Yes,
Okay. And you're basing that off of the Central Appraisal District value, is that correct?
yes, sir.
And Your Honor, that's Exhibit 4. So the house is underwater. You owe a lot of money on it. But you're asking the court to award that house to you in the separation, correct?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. McCarthy has told you numerous times he doesn't want it, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, you moved out in February of 2020, correct?
Yes.
Where was that house located?
It was located on his parents' property in Elgin.
And when you left, how long did that house stay on his parents' property?
Till July.
And did you have any access to that house at all during that time?
No, I did not. I was denied access.
And so Mr. McCarthy, would it be fair to say, had the exclusive use of the home for those months?
Sir.
And who paid the mortgage during
I-
those months? And so one of the things you're asking the court to do is award you or reimburse you for the mortgage payments that you made during that month. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And Your Honor, if you would, if I could direct you to Exhibit A of Petitioner's Exhibit 18, it's the 5th page back. To make things quicker, this is a list of the reimbursements that Ms. McCarthy is asking that Mr. McCarthy be ordered to make, and she's asking that it be done in a judgment with some type of monthly payment. We understand the likelihood of being paid back, but I'm going to go over this exhibit with you now, Renee. Is it true you also paid auto insurance for Mr. McCarthy's truck for February?
Yes, sir.
Was that $232.83?
Yes, sir.
So you're asking him to pay half of that, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you paid his portion of the phone bill for February and March, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you're asking that to be reimbursed?
Yes, sir.
And then he used your credit card to purchase tires for his truck, is that right?
Yes, sir.
So you're asking for that to be reimbursed, correct?
Yes, sir.
He has kept some property of yours that was your separate property, such as a Roku TV, a DVD player, a camping tent, some boots, a bath towel set, and an air fryer. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And so you're asking to be reimbursed for the cost of those items as well, correct?
Yes, sir.
Because you don't really have much hope that he hasn't already destroyed them or that he'll return them, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, manufactured home, what happened in July? Were you able to access the home?
Yes.
And what did you do with the home?
I moved the home.
And where did you move it to?
I moved it to my uncle's property out here in Bertram.
And you've had exclusive use of that home since then, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you've been paying the mortgage.
Yes, sir.
And you're not asking Mr. McCarthy to reimburse you for any of the mortgage payments you've made since it's been in your possession, correct?
Correct.
But you are asking for him to reimburse you for half of the cost of the move, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you're also asking him to reimburse you for half the cost of storage of all the items of yours that had to be removed from the home so you could move it, correct?
Yes, sir.
You also paid property taxes for the year 2020, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you're asking him to pay half of that, which is $459.01, correct?
Sure.
And then he caused some damage to the home while he was in it, living with you, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And you're asking him to pay $720 for the cost of repairs for that damage, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And Your Honor, that's all contained on Exhibit A of Petitioner's Exhibit 18. And Ms. McCarthy, you have a 401k, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And you had that prior to the marriage.
Yes, sir.
And as of the date of marriage, the balance was about $4,723.41. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And you're asking the court to confirm that as your separate property today. Is that right? Was that a yes? You cut out a little bit.
Yes.
And it's obviously it's increased some, but whatever the current balance is, you're asking that to be, you're asking to be awarded that as well due to the cruel treatment that you've suffered at his hands. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
You're asking that the items that you have, that you've taken, you keep possession of, and the items that he has kept, that he keep possession of. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
If he's got if he has the Roku TV, the air fryer, the DVD player, the camping tent, or the washing machine, you would like them back, right?
Yes.
Okay. But have you had any luck communicating with him about anything really?
We did attempt to make a swap of the material, but it was at primarily his discretion, and he wanted me to enter the property in order to obtain it, which I did not feel safe doing. I did request for him to meet me in a Walmart parking lot, and he refused to do so.
So are you asking the court to order him to return the materials at a neutral location, or do you just want him to pay the approximate value of them?
I would just rather him pay the approximate value.
Okay. And to him, as far as debts, you're willing to assume the full mortgage on the home, correct?
Yes, sir.
You're willing to assume 100% of the loan you took against your 401k to be able to move the home?
Yes, sir.
You're willing to assume all the debt on all the credit cards in your name. That would be a Chase card ending in 2948, a Capital One card ending in 4426, a Capital One card ending in 4487, a Bell's card ending in 8118, a Home Depot card, and a Discount Tire card. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you're agreeing to assume all of the debts incurred by you after the date of separation, February 15th, 2020. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Now you own a vehicle, right?
Yes, sir.
Is that a 2018 Subaru?
Yes, sir.
And Your Honor, and that Subaru was purchased prior to marriage?
Yes.
And Your Honor, the title is shown on Exhibit 12, Petitioner's Exhibit 12. Now, as far as his property, you don't really know what he has as far as debts or assets, do you?
No, I don't.
He's refused to provide anything to us or to the court. Is that right?
Correct.
You think you may know that he has a Capital One card, a Discover card, a Home Depot card, and a Chase card. Is that right?
Yes.
But you have no clue what the balances are.
Correct.
And you're asking the court to order him responsible for those debts, correct?
Yes.
And any other debts he's incurred since the date of separation. Is that right?
Yes.
And did Mr. McCarthy have a pickup truck, to your knowledge, that he had before the marriage?
Yes.
And that's a 2014 Ford F-150?
Yes.
And you're willing to, obviously, you're asking the court to confirm that as his separate property, correct?
Yes.
And he had some toolboxes as well, and you're willing to have that confirmed as his separate property, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So one of the last things, there's a list of property, Your Honor, contained as Exhibit B to Petitioner's Exhibit 18. And ma'am, you helped me and your previous attorney prepare this list, correct?
Yes.
And you're familiar with the document that we're looking at. We've gone over that, correct? And this is a list of items that are that you say you brought into the marriage that were your separate property, right?
Yes.
And you're asking that the court confirm that be your separate property.
Yes.
And one item you're specifically saying is yours is the laptop computer, correct?
Yes.
Okay. How much have you paid in attorney's fees to both Ms. Watson and then to me?
$4,000.
And so you're asking just as part of the division for Mr. McCarthy to be responsible for 2,000 of those, is that right?
Yes.
So once again, you're asking that the court grant you a divorce based on cruel treatment, correct?
Yes.
You're asking that he grant a judgment against Mr. McCarthy for $9,176.85 for reimbursement for items that you have spent during the marriage and on his behalf. Is that correct?
Yes,
And you're asking for $2,000 to be reimbursed in attorney's fees. Is that correct? Your Honor, I'll pass the witness at this time.
Thanks. Is there anything further?
Not from me, Your Honor. No, sir.
And is she asking for a change of name today?
She is not. No, sir.
The court will grant the divorce, will divide the property as requested, will grant the divorce on fault grounds and grant the reimbursement and confirmation of separate property. Is there any other thing?
Did that include attorney's fees, Your Honor?
It did.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Nothing from me. Should I submit the order, e-file it, or submit it?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. This concludes the hearing.
Thank you.